Hi there and welcome back. Today I want to talk about NaNoWriMo some more. I'm a local volunteer for NaNoWriMo in London. This means I organise events and welcome Rhymos to our community, but also it means that I have to answer a lot of questions about NaNoWriMo every year. One thing that comes up a lot in the last week of October and the first week of November is people will tell me, I've just found out about NaNoWriMo and I'd love to do it, but I guess it's too late now. I have no time to prep. I can't just write 50,000 words. No, it's not too late, and yes, you can do it. It might well be the very end of October or the beginning of November, but you can still get the full NaNoWriMo experience. So I want to give out some tips for last minute NaNoWriMo prep. I've divided my tips into 3 categories, and they are last minute plotting, Software Survival Kit, and IRL Survival Kit. Emergency NaNoWriMo novel plotting. The first thing we'll need is a story idea that we'll base all our November writing on. You may already have a story idea for this November, but if you don't, I've based a whole video around how to find ideas for NaNoWriMo, and you can watch it right here. So when I've got a basic idea, the first thing that I like to do is to define my main character a little bit more. So I just pick a character questionnaire online. There are many of these around, and there's a really good one on the NaNoWriMo blog. I've linked it down below. It's basically a nice long list of questions about your character. What they look like, what kind of music they like, what kind of food they eat, what are they afraid of, what makes them angry, what's their worst memory from childhood, what's their dream job? What's a situation that they try to avoid at all cost? What would they spend money on if they won the lottery? All that kind of stuff. What I like to do is take a questionnaire like that and set myself a timer and try and answer a lot of these questions as fast as I can so that I don't overthink it. Because in the end, what I'm trying to do is get an image of the character in my mind and not really fix them on the page forever. The next thing that I like to do is a timed brainstorming session about conflict. You can't really have a story without conflict in it, or you could, but it would be pretty boring. And conflict doesn't mean arguing, it just means that your protagonist really wants or needs something, and there's other people that really want or need other things, and problems ensue. Basically, conflict is the absolute root of plot. So I just take a piece of paper and write the central conflict of the novel on it, for instance, fighting the zombie apocalypse, and then I just set a timer for 10 minutes and try to figure out all the conflicts that I could find around this main central conflict. But I like to make a big list of conflicts because when I'm in the middle of NaNoWriMo and I don't have any ideas for what to do next, I can go back to this list and figure out something that I haven't put in yet that can create more conflict and therefore more plot in my story. Now, once I've done these 2 exercises, I like to go to the snowflake method. The snowflake method is a way of plotting your novel by taking a 1-sentence summary of what's going to be the main point of your entire book and then expanding it out to 3 sentences, 3 paragraphs, etc., etc. And so you build up from the core of the book into more and more detailed paragraphs. The guy who came up with this method has a great article that's free to read online where he describes it a lot better than I just did. However, the full method that he uses is very long, and it includes going into a lot of detail about the book, and you really shouldn't do that for NaNoWriMo because you'll feel too constricted. What you want to do is look at the snowflake method and do steps 1, 2, and 4. Step 3 is a character brainstorm, so if you want to use his character brainstorm for your exercises, then you can totally do that, and you end up with this like kind of half-page synopsis of your book that's a really good roadmap to have throughout NaNoWriMo to kind of keep you going in the right direction. Now, the last thing that I like to do in my emergency planning is to take some note cards and write down on them what scenes I absolutely cannot wait to write. Generally, when I'm planning a book, I'll have a few scenes in my head that I'm kind of thinking, yes, I am writing the entire book so that I can get to writing those specific scenes. And I like to write those down and keep them with my writing stuff so that I can look at them and keep motivated when it's not going well. And also when I finally come to writing them, I'll remember what I meant to write. By doing these few exercises, you could come up with a roadmap for your NaNoWriMo novel in about an evening. Next, the Software Survival Kit. Now, I'm really quite nerdy and I love all my gadgety, shiny programs that do all the things, but you can absolutely do NaNoWriMo and do really well and win using just a word processor. If you don't have MS Word on your computer, you can download OpenOffice, which is free to use. In fact, if you want to write your entire nano novel by hand using pen and paper, you also totally can do that. But I want to tell you about a few programs that I found personally invaluable in doing NaNoWriMo. So first, to organize my novel and give it a home, I use Scrivener. And I know everybody has been raving about Scrivener. It's because it's fantastic. The designer for Scrivener is a creative writer. He basically took all the things that he wished other writing programs would let him do and then coded those things into Scrivener. And it makes it really good because it comes from the experience of a writer. Scrivener is a NaNoWriMo partner. You can get a free trial membership that you can use for 30 days, which is just great for NaNoWriMo. And then if you like it, you can buy it 30% off if you're a NaNoWriMo participant, and you can buy it 50% off if you're a NaNoWriMo winner. It's really a great investment. Now, for positive motivation, one website I really enjoy using in November is 750words.com. It's basically a place for you to go and do your writing and store your writing privately online. So it acts as a backup as well as a place for you to write in the first place. And also, if you write every day, it gives you super cute animal badges as a reward, and who doesn't like shiny badges? Now for some negative reinforcement, this has to be my absolute favorite NaNoWriMo website, and everybody has also been talking about it. It is Write or Die, which is an online app that you can also buy a desktop version of, which basically gives you a little prod when you're not writing fast enough. So you put in a word count goal and a time goal, and you can kind of see how fast you're doing compared to how fast you ought to be doing to hit your goal and the time limit. And then if you're not going fast enough, it starts flashing red and beeping and making noise and deleting your words and stuff. You can set it however you want, but it is a lifesaver. You will write so much faster than you thought that you could, and I am going to go out there and say that I would never have won any of my NaNoWriMos without Write or Die. It is that good. So you should definitely check it out. And the last thing that you need in your software survival kit is a backup plan. If you've ever lost any of your writing to a random computer crash, you will know it hurts to lose words. Now, it hurts even more to lose words in November, and you absolutely want to back up regularly because you don't know when something bad could happen with your computer and you don't want to be in that position. The two programs that I will recommend for you to do frequent novel backups are Dropbox and Google Drive. Both of them are online. You can create a free account. You can download a Dropbox client to your computer so that it syncs automatically whatever you're working on onto the Dropbox website, and you can recover your work from a different computer just by logging into your Google Drive or Dropbox account. You have to be online to save your work, but it's perfectly fine to write at the cafe and then upload your work to Dropbox when you come home. And finally, we come to the IRL Survival Kit. These are a few things that I have found really useful to keep by me at all times during NaNoWriMo, because you will need them a lot. First, we've got a notebook and a pen. This is really important because you never know when inspiration will strike. You never know when you'll have an idea that you need to write down absolutely right this second, otherwise you'll forget about it. And if you live in London, you never know when you're going to be stuck on the underground for far longer than you planned for, and you will be able to write some NaNoWriMo words in your notebook. Number 2 is a beverage of your choice, preferably of the caffeinated variety, it must be said. This is just because doing NaNoWriMo makes November really, really busy, and when you come to your writing time, you want to be as focused as you can, and a lot of us find that caffeine is really helpful for that. Number 3, and closely related to the writing beverage, is the writing snack. Try to find something that you enjoy and that will be a little bit of a treat for you, but that you won't just finish in 2 seconds flat, because that can get expensive, and then if you eat too much you can get a bit drowsy, and that's not helpful for writing your novel. Also, try to find something that's not going to get your fingers all sticky when you're trying to type, and try to find something that's not going to crumble all over your computer. Next, we have writing music in whatever format works for you, and whatever style works for your novel. I know that a lot of people like to make a playlist specifically for their novel. For me, if I do that, I tend to get distracted by the music being new. I need something that I know so well that I can kind of have it in the background. But to each their own, as long as you've got something to distract you from the outside world. And last, but certainly not least, you need a USB drive to back up your novel regularly. Earlier, when I said that you can write at the cafe and then go home and put it on Dropbox, when you're done writing at the cafe, you need to put it on your USB drive first in case there's a problem between the cafe and home. I know I'm sounding a bit OTT right now, but one of my previous co-MLs actually once lost 20,000 words of his novel and had to start over from the beginning. So you want to save as much as you can. So USB drive and then Dropbox. It's better to have it in more places. So these were my last minute tips for NaNoWriMo. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a like or a share. If you have any questions about NaNoWriMo, please ask in the comments below. And if you're a NaNoWriMo veteran yourself, please feel free to give some advice to newbies as well if you think I've missed out anything really important. I'm also going to be vlogging about my NaNoWriMo progress throughout the months, so if you want to get that straight into your feed, you can subscribe. I've been Claire, thanks so much for watching, and see you soon.